This is Stephen Curry. Before becoming a living legend for the Golden State Warriors and rewriting the NBA's tactical playbook, Stephen Curry was just a thin, overlooked kid at a small college. His journey is the ultimate testament to how true greatness can be invisible to those clinging to outdated standards. This is the story of how a boy from Davidson proved that efficiency and courage carry far more weight than physical stature. The small giant of Davidson. Stephen Curry's college basketball career began under a cloud of skepticism. Leading Davidson, a school with almost no national presence, he went toe-to-toe with giants. In an epic showdown against Kansas, Curry was one win away from the Final Four. While his opponents boasted 7 future NBA players, Curry carried his team almost entirely on his own shoulders. Despite the immense pressure, he put Davidson ahead in the closing minutes of the Elite Eight. During that tournament, he averaged a staggering 34 points per game. Even LeBron James made sure to be in the stands to witness the phenomenon who was dismantling the nation's best defenses, including Wisconsin, who surrendered 33 points to the young guard. The blind judgment of scouts. Despite his absolute dominance, NBA scouting reports were relentless and, in hindsight, almost comical. They claimed he was too small and lacked athleticism, incapable of being a pure point guard, inferior to prospects like Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn. Scouts ignored the fact that Curry had converted nearly half of his long-range shots in his final year. This lack of faith was nothing new. He only ended up at Davidson because larger universities like Virginia Tech, his father's alma mater, and Duke closed their doors to him. When Duke later tried to recruit him as a transfer, Curry's response was a firm no, staying loyal to the program that believed in him from the start. The freedom to fail and flourish. Curry's success wasn't instant. In his college debut, he committed 13 turnovers. Most coaches would have benched him immediately, but Bob McKillop did the opposite. He gave Curry the keys to the offense. This freedom allowed him to learn from his mistakes and destroy elite defenses in the games that followed. Curry showed the world something never seen before: shots off the move, lightning-fast release, and a shooting range that drove defenders to desperation. Against powerhouses like Georgetown and Gonzaga, he proved that the opponent's size didn't matter. If he had an inch of space, the ball was finding the net. A statistical revolution. To understand Curry's impact, one only needs to look at how the game has evolved. When he was a freshman, NBA teams averaged about 17 three-point attempts per game. Today, that number has more than doubled to 37. He transformed what was once considered a gimmick or a secondary tool into the primary weapon of modern basketball. Even after leading the country in scoring and posting historic efficiency numbers, which by today's advanced metrics would rank as the greatest in college history, the NBA still doubted him. On draft night, 6 players were chosen ahead of him. The Minnesota Timberwolves famously selected 2 different point guards in the same top 6, ignoring the man who would go on to win 4 titles and 2 MVP awards. The final legacy. Stephen Curry didn't just enter the league, he forced it to adapt. What experts labeled as a lack of physical tools was actually superior basketball IQ and a flawless shooting mechanic. Looking back at that 2008 game against Kansas, it's fascinating to think about how one missed shot or one different recruiting phone call could have changed the NBA. If Virginia Tech had offered him a scholarship, perhaps he never develops that chip on his shoulder. If Minnesota had drafted him, perhaps the three-point revolution happens 5 years later, or not at all. Stephen Curry is the black swan of basketball, an event that was impossible to predict but in hindsight seems inevitable. He took a game that was played on the floor and moved it into the air. He took a game of giants and gave it to the marksman. Today, every time a player pulls up from the logo or a coach draws up a play for a stretch 4, they are paying a silent tribute to the kid from Davidson who was told he was too small. Davidson wasn't just a detour, it was the laboratory where the greatest shooter in history was forged. By the time the world finally realized what they were looking at, the game had already changed forever. Subscribe to the channel and leave like.